We are living in the most educated era in human history. Access to higher learning has exploded globally, and leadership training programs are everywhere, churning out highly credentialed graduates by the millions. Yet, as our resumes get longer, our public trust continues to collapse. Across the globe, leaders at the highest levels are consistently choosing personal self-interest, blatant power grabs, and rigid tribal loyalties over the common good. Look at this diagram. We've operated on the assumption that academic qualifications automatically equate to moral wisdom, but the data tells a different story. While the trajectory of educational attainment climbs, public trust drops in the opposite direction. How does the modern education machine pump out endless technical experts while its output for a moral compass runs completely dry? By rewarding technical achievement while ignoring character, our institutions are graduating experts who lack the moral development needed to handle the power they've been given. To understand where this failure originates, we have to look closely at the internal mechanics of how we actually train people for power. In most curricula, ethics is treated as an abstract intellectual exercise. It's a box to be checked, a theory to be memorized, instead of a lived daily practice. This chart breaks down what researchers call the Cynicism Pipeline. It starts with institutions demanding a relentless focus on high achievement. But when those same institutions fail to model integrity themselves, when educators don't embody the values they teach, students internalize that hypocrisy. They learn the real goal is to manipulate the system to win, rather than uphold ethical standards. The inevitable result is a professional class where technical expertise outpaces moral development. Our prestige pipelines aren't failing to teach ethics by accident. They are actively manufacturing cynicism, eroding the foundation of public trust. We see the macro-societal fallout from this collapse of trust everywhere. Without faith in ethical leadership, communities fracture and political polarization increases. This has triggered a reaction we can call the illusion of retreat. Disillusioned groups are increasingly demanding cultural separatism or siloed governance, trying to build defensive walls against a leadership class they no longer trust. Retreating into cultural silos might feel safe in the moment, but history and sociological research indicate that walling ourselves off into isolated factions rarely produces greater justice or better outcomes. Instead, these cultural enclaves tend to entrench existing divisions, breed continuous intergroup conflict, and undermine broader social cohesion. Separatism is a false cure. It turns distrust into a permanent feature of our society, making the cooperation required for a functioning justice system almost impossible to achieve. If we want to move past this division, we can't retreat from the problem. We have to address the way our leadership pipeline functions at its root. First, ethical frameworks and reflective practices must be woven into every level of curricula. It's about moving beyond isolated lectures and making integrity part of the daily institutional rhythm. Institutions must shift away from raw credentialism. We need transparent assessments designed to select leaders based on proven empathy and public service. Furthermore, systems must reward cross-cultural understanding, preparing leaders to work across divides rather than seeking safety in enclaves. Finally, civil society has to step up. Active citizen engagement and independent oversight are essential to ensure that when leaders do commit ethical breaches, there are real consequences. Fixing this crisis requires a realignment of how we filter, train, and hold power accountable, placing ethical formation at the center of the process. We started with the assumption that a highly educated society is automatically a better one,